Here's a look at the project that I am proposing we all do. And of course, it's going to display the fruit of the Spirit in the form of flowers, growing flowers. So I'm going to turn it sideways so you can see all the fruit listed out, and you will have this video to watch slowly, to pause whenever you want, but I'm going to run through it quickly so you have everything you need to complete this project. First thing you'll need to do is to figure out how far apart each of your flowers are going to have to be. So I measured out the area that I have to work with, and in my case, of course, I have this big journal, but you may have a border of a Bible or a page of a Bible. So figure out what you want your margins to be, and that'll determine how much room you have to place 9 Fruit of the Spirit stalks on. Then decide where you want each of the flower heads to go and where the words are going to go on the stalks. After I did this, I thought, well, I could have had those stalks taller, that I feel like I'm more advanced in my spiritual journey on that particular fruit. And then the little sprouting ones are ones that I really need to work on, but you decide how you want to lay it out. Because I have decided to make my stalks very close together as if they were in a Bible border, some of the flower heads are going to overlap the neighboring stalks. So I have to keep all that in mind when I'm drawing them out. Make sure I'm leaving room for the words and trying to decide where they're going to be. And then I'll need to maybe draw the flower heads first so that the stalk doesn't run over them. I realized that after picking up my pen, so I stopped and went back and wrote the words out in pencil. You could also, because margins could be kind of tight for this, you could stagger your flowers all over the page. They don't have to be lined up perfectly, or lengthwise do them rather than vertically. You could do them horizontally on a page, whatever works to fit them into your Bible or wherever you plan to put them. I don't worry about being exact with the pencil because I can make little adjustments when I come back over everything in pen, and you will see things that aren't exactly as I penciled them out as I go over them in pen. The pen I'm using is a black waterproof pen, and it's the Uniball Micro Deluxe pen. And you can also use Micron pens. They are great. You just want to be sure if you're using watercolors that it's something waterproof. And actually the Micron pens work very well to write over colored pencils. So they will tackle that waxiness of the colored pencils as well. Whimsical art like these flowers are great to do when you're just beginning because you can't go wrong with them. There's any number of flowers that you can choose to add and designs. Google them and find all kinds of fun ones, and I'll have a picture at the end of some that I saw online that I thought were great too. So don't necessarily just use the flowers I used. There's something that'll appeal to you out there. Don't be afraid to try different stalks too. If you don't like the ruler straight stalks, you can have wavy, wiggly stalks for your flowers as well. Now, after erasing the pencil marks, we've got everything lined out in pen. You can go back and add some leaves wherever you think they'd look nice. And I've chosen some that are a little harder to draw, so I just Googled how to draw a leaf that's bent and got some help there. Now I can go over those penciled in leaves in pen, and they will be permanent as well. Okay, now it's time to decide what colors you're going to use for your flowers and your leaves, how you're going to decorate this. Are you going to add a watering can or put it in a planter, or how are you going to finish it up with color? Also, are you going to use colored pencils or watercolors, markers, or crayons? Grab them and dig in and start coloring it up. And you really need to be training yourself when you are journaling to remember what you're doing. This is a form of worship. We are writing down the fruit that God expects us to bear as Christians. So don't lose sight of that. Remember, always circle back and look at what you're doing. Sometimes I pause and I read the verse again that I'm working on just to remind myself of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I opted to just have my flowers with the spiritual fruit in them and not add any embellishments outside of that. But I did then doodle up the stalks a little bit to thicken them and just add some character to them. And I made a second version of this for my homemade journal that I made just for studying through the spiritual fruit so that I could have that as a keepsake. That's our group project for today. I hope yours turns out wonderful, and I'd love to see what you come up with. And most importantly, how can you use this journaling today and throughout the week to change the way you approach each day and to produce spiritual fruit, the kind of fruit that God desires?